A modern setting for an old idea. Government, business, and yes, trade unions standing together ahead of the Chancellor's third emergency response to coronavirus.
Chancellor!
Rishi Sunak unveiled a new scheme to support jobs with a twist. Unlike the outgoing furlough scheme, which originally paid 80% of people's wages not to work, the state will now pay substantially less to those in work. A maximum of 22% of wages will be covered in what the Chancellor called viable jobs, those that will weather the COVID storm. To be eligible, employees must work at least a third of their normal hours, and that will be paid by their employer. The government and the employer will then top up their wages to cover 2/3 of the pay they've lost by reducing their hours. In the end, the employee will lose around a quarter of their original salary.
In March, the problem was that we ordered businesses to close. In response, we paid people to stay at home and not work. Today, the problem is different. Many businesses are operating safely and viably, but they now face uncertainty and reduced demand over the winter months. What those businesses need is support to bring people back to work and protect as many viable jobs as we can.
Shadow Chancellor Annalise Dodds.
Mr. Speaker, I've called for the introduction of a system of targeted wage support 40 times. That call has been rebuffed by this government 20 times. It's a relief this government have U-turned now. But we must be open and honest. That delay in introducing this new scheme will have impacted on businesses' confidence.
An unsettled country digesting another round of emergency measures as the government responds to an unpredictable and invisible enemy. Tory MPs were generally happy. One told me this shouldn't be too expensive. We've gone from a situation where the state was paying most of people's wages with a top-up from business to the other way round. Now it's businesses paying most of people's wages with us just doing a little top-up. One economist says the plan marks a significant break.
Now, the replacement for the furlough scheme is much less generous than what we've had up till now, only available if you're actually working part-time, and the subsidy for employers is much less. So we will get an increase in unemployment, but that was to some extent deliberate on the part of the Chancellor, who thinks we can't and shouldn't be supporting people who are not working at all pretty much indefinitely. The state intervention we've had this year has been enormous, well over £100 billion, an astonishing amount of money. Had we not had that, had we not had the job retention scheme and the other support schemes for business, this would feel appalling. We would have millions and millions unemployed. We'd have tens, hundreds of thousands of businesses going under. So what the government has done has been remarkable in the extent to which it has supported the economy through this. The issue, of course, is how long can you do that? And the hope must be that we get the virus under control within the next relatively short while, because we can't keep that forever.
So far in this crisis, Mr. Popular. But in adapting to the economic emergency, political fortunes could ebb and flow.